We're going to start our second keynote, which is going to be, the talk is going to be given by Alvaro Villegas from Nokia, Spain. So Nokia is one of our sponsors. Thank you a lot for supporting the company. So Alvaro leads the Extended Reality Lab in Nokia, which is a research center focused in the application of immersive media to human communications. He received the telecommunications engineering degree at the Polytechnic University of Madrid and completed an MBA core program at ESCP, Europe Business School. He received the Distinguished Member of Technical Staff title from Bell Labs and has dedicated almost 30 years of professional life to innovate in digital video in different companies, such as Telefonica, Ono, Motorola, Nagravision, Alcatel, Lucent, and Nokia. And he has filed more than 40 patents. So Alvaro's talk is about teleporting remote experts with distributed reality. So please welcome Alvaro. Thank you.
So hello everybody. So I am Alvaro Villegas, as already said, and I am leading the XR lab in Nokia. So first of all, as we have been working in this field for many years, but the lab is new. So this is our first presentation in society. So let me start by showing you a short video about us. So this is us. So you will wonder what we do. It's a nice mixture of things, and we like to explain it in this way. We do three main things: extended reality, so immersive media, which is quite a lot to do with these days here in IMX. Secondly, we do a lot of artificial intelligence and machine learning applied to the same field, so mostly on video and imaging. And the third part is 5G, 6G, we're Nokia. So this is important, and also all the systems and architecture and prototyping. With this in mind, the kind of skills that you will find in my team, by the way, a large part of my team is here, so you can talk with them in the demos. The skills are these ones related to video, VR, computer graphics on the red side, on the blue side about machine learning, and also quality of experience, very important, about everything that we do. On the green side is everything related to networking, edge computing, architecting the whole thing. And then we do a couple of weird stuff, apart from being very active in developing prototypes and doing stuff with our hands. We like that. We drive drones, and we even do something very intriguing called biorobotics that can be explained in a different meeting, not this one. So where we are, easy to say, we are up there in Madrid, Spain. That's physically, but the important thing today is we are in Nokia. We are one of the industrial participants in this forum today. And what is Nokia? You probably remember this. This is the Nokia that you may remember. These are the mobile phones that you could not destroy even if you tried it, and the ones that in which the battery lasted for 1 month or whatever. But This is not Nokia anymore, as you can imagine. You may think that Nokia is this. It may be the case. They are phones, but the phones that you see with Nokia brand are not made by Nokia. We have just sold the brand for making them. Nokia is doing essentially all the rest. If you look at the mobile networks that exist out there, we do the rest of the devices there, the antennas, the base stations, the core fiber, everything. So this is what Nokia is selling. Nokia is an industrial company. But if you remember, we are the extended reality lab. We are a lab. And what does it mean? It means that we are a research group. And how does it fit within Nokia? Because of this. What you see there is Bell Labs. Bell Labs is a very old research center, 1 century old, in fact, comes from the US. It's here because Nokia some years ago bought Alcatel-Lucent. Alcatel-Lucent was the merge of Alcatel and Lucent, and Lucent was the evolution of AT&T, so it's a long story. And from the very early days, Bell Labs was the place where all the telecommunications technology was invented. Everything that you can imagine about telecommunications has been developed in Bell Labs. If any of you come from the telecom space, this guy, Klaus Shannon, the father of the information theory, was an employee in Bell Labs. Things like the satellite communications have been invented there. The sensors that you have to go have in your mobile phones and in all cameras were invented there. Even things like the discovery of the Big Bang theory is based on a discovery that was done within Bell Labs with these things. Not long and nice story, by the way, but not for today. And of course, this tiny thing was also invented there, the transistor. So as you can imagine, it's a really, really nice place where a lot of things have been done. And it still exists. We have been in Bell Labs for a long time. And just some months ago, we have graduated, and now we have our own lab within Nokia, which is focused entirely on extended reality. So that is our situation. That's where we come from. But today we're going to talk. This is an interactive experience forum, and we are talking about immersivity. And so let's immerse into that. The immersivity. What is immersivity? What is immersive media? When you talk to people about immersive media, most people think about this. And this is virtual reality. It's a little bit ridiculous, but it's fun. And it's real. I mean, this is, and many of you are working on this, and it's really useful. Many people use it for things like this. So entertainment is one of the main use cases for virtual reality or for immersivity. But there are many other use cases, and not only for virtual reality. If we get into augmented reality, which is the other side of the continuum, we will see that in a minute. Augmented reality can be used for many things. Some people consider that the fourth transformation in the relationship between humans and machines. The fourth is because it comes after the invention of the console, then the graphical user interface, and the smartphones. We are the third one, and this will be the fourth one once the AR goggles become a little bit more tiny and usable, but that will come. And then when that becomes available, the kind of things that we'll be able to do is things like this, just augment your world, maybe not used for the bad, like in this one, this is the Terminator, of course. You may use it for the good, like this one, it's also AR, and that will happen. We all hope that will happen because that will be good. But, and another one, which is this thing that you are probably hearing every day, is the spatial computing, a nice words for the idea that augmented reality goggles will remove the screens around you, which is probably right. Once you can have virtual screens around you, you don't need physical screens. All of this is true, and all of this will come, and all of this will be important in our lives and in the lives of everyone. So I am a real believer in AR, and whenever it becomes real, that will transform our lives. But the important thing is that my lab, and we are not focused on this kind of applications. What are we focused on? We are focused on this. Communications. So not so many people are using immersive media today for communications. And this is exactly what we want to do. Doing communications with immersive media. And you may think that this is already being done, and you are probably right. Even in situations that you're not so aware. For instance, the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about communicating in immersive is this thing. When I first saw that my kids were playing Fortnite for hours and hours, I got scared. I didn't like it until I realized that it's not only a game. They were communicating with their friends. It's all together working for hours. It's the equivalent to working in on the streets, something that is not so easy to do today. So this is a communication exercise. So in fact, if you think about that, today, Fortnite, I think they are not working immersively, but it is a communication application. At least they are using that in that way. Not immersive, but there are, of course, applications in which it is immersive and intentionally immersive. There are many of them. You may know several of them in which you have this kind of applications with avatars. Each of those avatars corresponds to a real person wearing goggles and trying to communicate with the others. In this case, it's probably an education application. And there are many commercial initiatives like this one in the market. In fact, there is another one. You will know this guy. And this corresponds to a word that I will say only twice today. This is the first one. This guy is driving the metaverse, first time today, and he's making a lot of applications like this one. Very similar to the previous one. It's just for communication. So it's immersive and it is communication. It's exactly the kind of things that we want to do and that we are doing. The thing is that the way in which they are doing is not exactly the same as we want to do. I mean, what is the problem with all these applications that I have just shown about communication and about immersive? The problem is that they are basically cartoons. What you see there, it works, and don't take me wrong, I am not deceiving, I am not saying these applications are bad. We have tested them in my group. We have done many tests. Whenever one of them comes to the market, we try it, and in particular the one from Zuckerberg. It's nice. It works really well, and you have a very good feeling, and it works pretty well. But the problem with it is not that it is functional, not working. It is that it is a cartoon. What you saw there, it is this thing. And this is a problem? No, but it is not what we like. What I understand by communication is not this thing. It is this thing. I mean, for me, communication means being together with another human being in the real world and communicating. Exactly, most closer to the things that you can do in real life. Although the definition of reality may probably change in the coming decades, but right now, it is how it is, and this is what we want to keep doing. And we want the immersivity to help exactly in this space. And then again, you can think that that is already the case. We have applications now, thanks to the pandemic, but even before that, we are using video conferences all the time for professional purpose and for personal purpose, and we are doing that. And that is real life, real people, and communicating with a system that works. True. But what is the problem here? It is not immersive. The problem is that when you talk to someone in this way, the rest of the world around you, it does not disappear. Sadly, it not disappear but it doesn't matter. The only thing that really is important for the communication is in this tiny window that you have in front of you, and that is obviously not the same. So what is what we want? I just said the things that we don't want. What we want is this. For me, this is communication. This is this happened long ago in far away, so it's reality. So no, but I mean the concept. I like to use this one, the Digital Council scene, because it's exactly what we want. It's real people, okay, in the movie, but it's real people that are having a conversation. They are having a meeting all together without being physically in the same place. This is my goal. This is the goal of the team that I have of all of us in my team, and this is what we want to do. So how are you going to do that? What are our plans? Okay, so let's talk about not astronomy, we're talking about taxonomy. Let's put some order in the words, in the words of that we are using for this. Most of you will know the reality continuum, so the definition of the different things in real reality. So on one side we have real reality, so this is real. On the other side, and the opposite side, we have virtual reality, nothing to do with the real world. So it's the opposite side. And in the middle, we have many things. We have augmented reality, which means most of what I see is the real world, but I put some small Pokemons or whatever on top of that, or screens or whatever you want, but it's mostly real. And now at the right side, there's something which is not that well known. Here, probably, yes, is the augmented virtuality, which is the opposite. I have The whole scene is virtual, but maybe I put something which is real, possibly my body, my hands, my legs. By the way, we have a nice demonstration of this in our booth. So if someone wants to try that out and dares to, some people don't dare to do that. It's a bit scary, but if you want, you can try to do that, our Volcano demo. So that's augmented virtuality, and that exists. I mean, there are many applications about that. That's the reality continuum, and some people call mixed reality part of it, the whole of it. We like we used to say extended reality for the whole thing, and I think that's becoming more or less a consensus in the market about that. But that's not enough. We don't have enough realities here, especially because I cannot fit what I want to do. The Jedi Council does not fit here. So let's do something. First of all, let me repeat it. We have in the captured and generated, so reality and virtuality. At that side, I have local reality, now without any pictures. On the right side, I have virtual reality. Again, augmented reality is more or less there. Note that I have left a hole in the middle. On the right side, augmented virtuality. So far, the same thing. Now, let me fill that hole is diminished reality. Some of you may know that. That means that it's mostly real, but instead of putting some Pokemons, I remove something from the reality. So that already exists. It's very difficult to do technically, but it's useful. If I see something like this and I want to remove this microphone so I can see what is behind, that can be done. That is at the left side. So, but it's, again, the same taxonomy, captured versus generated. But again, I cannot fit what I want to do here. So let's add another dimension. We can use more dimensions. And for me, the important dimension here, because I want to talk about communication, is local against non-local, distant or whatever, but non-local. And then if I do this, I can start doing interesting things. First of all, at the right side, virtual reality really covers all that part. Why? Because it's virtual, so it really doesn't matter if it's local or non-local, but there may be use cases for both. For instance, if I have a virtual reality application, a game in which I am seeing my hands, virtual hands, of course, everything is virtual. There's no real world here, not even my hands. Then I can put it in that corner, more or less, because it's generated, it's virtual, but it's local. It has some local components. If I go up there, and then I have purely virtual and nothing to do with me. Probably many of you have had dreams or nightmares with this horrible bunny. We have used it too many times. It's horrible, but okay. But just something which is purely virtual in that corner is non-local because it has nothing to do with my locality and it's generated, so it's virtual. Now let's go to the top row of this. At the other corner, we have something which is captured. Sorry, yeah, purely captured, so there is no virtuality. It's just reality that I capture with cameras, and it's non-local, so it's remote reality, a camera. If it's immersive, what we have here is a 360 camera. You have all used it, so you know what it means. If you go a little bit to the right, at that side, it's purely non-local, so there is nothing related with where I am physically, but I start adding stuff. For instance, I can annotate the video, like what you see in TV. Slightly more to the right, we can have something like, for instance, an immersive cockpit, meaning that I can have a slight virtual application that simulates to be a car, but then what I see through the screens is the real reality in a different place. And by the way, this is another demo that we have in our booth, so you can see it there. So we can remotely drive a car using this technology, so we're also there. Then if we go a little bit more to the right, we have something like that you know from the weather forecast typically. It is purely non-local because there's nothing from my world here, but then it's much more virtual because most of the screen is now a simulation. And then on the top right, something called possibly the virtual theater, this kind of applications in which most of it is virtual, and then you just keep maybe a movie or something like that. Okay, so we have filled all of that, and none of that is new. All of that is known, but there are a big hole in the middle. So at the left side, at the pure left side, there is something that we have called, and this is our name. We didn't have enough realities. We have generated a new one. It's distributed reality. We had to find a name. And what does it mean? It means things that have nothing generated. I'm not talking here about virtual. I'm not generating graphics. But it's something that is a mixture between local and non-local, meaning that I'm going to capture the world in different places. Here I mean my body, what I have around or something like that, but maybe the rest of you is not important for me at this moment if I want to do communication, or maybe you are remote. Maybe you are simply in a different place, but I want your real faces. I don't want avatars of you. I want to capture you, and then I want that experience that I have is my body with you behind. What is that? This is not virtual reality, augmented reality. It's distributed reality. And this is exactly the concept that I want to do. Distributed reality is the Jedi Council. It is the mixture of realities that are captured, real realities from different places in the world. Then I will show you in a minute a nice application of that to gastronomic environment. So this is distributed reality. I will elaborate on that in the rest of the presentation. But then you see that there is still a lot of place in the middle. It's like the Far West. No one has conquered that. So what happens in these cases? The first one that arrives conquers it, so let's conquer it. I call everything distributed reality. Why not? I mean, if I have something that enables me to mix two different realities in different places, I can start adding Pokemons and adding whatever I like. Why not? I mean, it's possible, and we are starting to do that. We have started from the left, and little by little, we'll be adding more and more stuff. So this is the taxonomy. This is what we are doing, and this is trying to explain where we are in terms of research. Practically, what we want to do is something like this. Imagine that you are in this place. It's a room, and I want to do this. I want to remove the rest of the room and change it with something else. This something else is not a virtual scenario. It may be a real video, not video, a real capture of a beach, and then I see myself in that beach. So at the end of the day, what I want to do is change the metaverse, second and last time, with the Realverse. So I'm interested in having what you see here in the picture. The real target, the real goal that we have is being able to have this experience, being able to share an experience with somebody who we love, for instance, and have this experience. That experience is real, is not simulated, is something which is happening somewhere, and we can feel the other person close to you even if you are in different parts of the planet. This is the goal. It's not easy. I'm not saying it is easy. But this is what we have. This is the goal of the extended reality lab that I am leading. So let's check just one example of an experience we did some years ago, in fact, with the very first and simple way of doing this. You see here what was happening, and then we click on the button, and this is a gastronomic experience in which my colleague Nacho, who's here, was having some sushi on the Malaga beach. We did, it was nice in this case, the technology was easy because we used Chroma, as you can imagine. The selection of the sushi and the food was not by chance. And it worked really, really well. We did a couple of experiences and it was really, really brilliant. The only thing that there is a technical problem that we have not been able to solve. And I ask you for help if someone has ideas. With those goggles on, you cannot have a glass of beer and drink it. It's impossible. And so with a straw, it's not the same. So that's one of the main problems that we have. But okay, that was one of the first experiences that we did with distributed reality. Now, things that you should be able to do, and we are starting to do, in fact, things like this. Imagine that you want to have your Christmas dinner with your family, and you're not there. You can have your own dinner. Well, the dinner, so far we cannot teleport it, but you can have this, and your experience should be this one. You see your food, you see your hands. Instead of being in a Malaga beach, which is nice, but you don't know anyone there, you have your family, and your family can also talk to you. It's not only seeing them, you can interact with them, and you can have the feeling that you're having the Christmas dinner with your family. So this is exactly what we want to do. Okay? So this is the concept of the distributed reality. But now time is draining, and if you remember, the title of this presentation was something related to training. So let's talk about that for a while. By the way, if I'm speaking very fast, I've been asked to reduce the time, so I will I will try to do that. So training. What is training? Training means transferring knowledge from one person to another. It's pretty easy to say, not that easy to achieve. For training, the best thing what works best is probably storytelling. So telling somebody a story, getting together with a bonfire or whatever, that is from long ago the best way to transmit knowledge and therefore to do some kind of training. There are two ways of doing this training. The first one is live. So meaning that the teacher and the students are in the same place. This is not the invention. This has been invented long ago. And it works really well. You have the teacher, students, and you just explain, and that works. That's one way. The other way is doing things offline, because the teacher is not available. This is not new either. In fact, this is the most ancient version of virtual reality is this one. It's at the end of the day, this is generating a reality in the brains of people that are watching that, and it's a way of train people. This one of the possibilities of this thing is just to train people how to hunt, for instance. So this is the second way of doing training, which is without the teacher being present. There are many technologies to do that. So which is better? I think we will all agree that it is better to have it live, to have the teacher with you. There are many cases. You have here some of them, just because of the proximity to the teacher itself, but also because of the topic. If you are in repairing a car, you need to see the car, and the teacher is going to teach you how to touch those cables or whatever. Or if you're learning how to cook, obviously you need to be in a kitchen, or dancing, of course. So there are many use cases, but I think it's a no-brainer. It's clearly better to have live training. What is the problem? That's not it is not always possible. Why? First, because the teachers are scarce, or good teachers are scarce. So when a teacher is good, you probably all have experienced that at the university, the typical class in which the good teacher is flooded and there's no place. And now, if you have a very good teacher, you should have a good way of making that his classes arrive at many people. That's one reason. Another one may be simply that there are physical obstacles. So you have problems to arrive to the place where the teacher is giving the class, or maybe you are sick and you have had problems. So there are many situations. Or, well, there's another possibility. Imagine that this is just science fiction, but imagine in the future we receive there is a virus that makes us all keeping house, locked down during months. If that ever happens, then that will help as well. In fact, this is just theoretical, but it has already happened in the past. These are a couple of things that I love. One of them, both of them, are mitigations of this problem of the distance. The left one is from the beginning of the 20th century. That was the solution they imagined for having, for instance, the school being closer to you. Just put some rails and take the school close to your home. That's one possibility. The other one is more realistic. When the Spanish flu at the beginning of the 20th century happened, technology was already there. There was a lot of technology. Technology was essentially the telephone, which, by the way, was invented by Graham Bell and has a lot to do with Bell Labs. And people started to use the telephone for everything, for shopping, for training, for everything. By the way, they had a big problem because they asked everyone to use the telephone, and they used it so much that it crashed completely. Also because it was not automatic. The operators were ladies that were changing the cables, and they also got the flu. So now in this case, a couple of years ago, it worked much better. But then the solutions that we have today is what you see underneath. There are lots of applications that can provide you remote training, offline training, so you don't need to have the teachers present. We have lots, but probably you have used most of them, and you probably have the same feeling that I have. Especially when you're giving a class, when you're receiving a class, you'll probably get bored quite pretty easily, and you just lose attention. When you're giving a class, most of the people are not even putting their cameras, and you have the impression that you are giving a class to an empty room, or people that are doing something completely different. And the bad thing, and the best thing, or the worst thing, is that it's not an impression. It's probably true. So no one is really paying attention. So the training is not being effective. So what can we do? Okay, let's get back to what we had at the beginning. This is remember the three things that we are doing. Okay, what can we do with immersive media, with artificial intelligence, and with a lot of knowledge about networking and prototypes? We can do telepresence, or not. Telepresence is too easy. Let's do teleport. So what we want to do is the closest thing to teleport that you can have today with the technology that exists. And we want to use immersive media for that. And for that, we already have a prototype, which, by the way, is over there in one of our demos in the booth. And it's called the OWL. If you ask the people there why it's called the OWL, they will explain you. But essentially, it's a telepresence application. The idea here is that we have a location, a physical location. to which you want to teleport people in. In the physical location, you have people, you have not only people, but the things, or maybe the car, or maybe whatever you want to transport for the training. And a capture, that strange device here in red, we have over there, it's the capture system that captures everything. It's based on 360 video and some more things. And then with this, we have the people around it doing the activity that you want to offer to the rest of the world. And we have a network, which is, of course, composed of Nokia components, as you can imagine. But the network, and we have 2D, what we call a 2D peers and traditional peers. So tablets, phones, you can use a phone, and you can connect with them. But that's pretty similar to what you have today. The interesting thing here is the immersive peers, meaning people that instead of using a tablet, they just put on VR goggles. In this case, it's VR, it's not AR. VR goggles, and what they have is the feeling of being teleported where the location is placed. And not only being teleported and being observers or watchers. They can interact, they can talk with the people there. And they can also interact with other people. This is not just one remote user, you may have many, and they can interact with each other. You see the others, like in this case, like avatars. Yes, we also use avatars. But you can talk with the other remotes, with the locals, with everyone. So at the end of the day, it's a community of people, some of them locals and some of them remote. Remember the distributed reality? This is exactly an implementation of that. What can this be used for? Many, many things. We have a long list in one of the posters that we have not in the poster sessions, but where the demo is located here in the hall. You can see some use cases. But for instance, you can use that to visit a trade show. So to be here listening to me, or maybe to go to have a coffee, which is also even more important than networking. You can do that because you can feel really being there, or you can go to the booth, to the demos, and see the real demos, not typical virtual trade show in which you see just digital twins of things. No, this is the real thing, not the digital twin. You can use it to guide a surgery, to have a dinner, as I said before, and this is the important thing for the training, you can attend a class. We have tried this. I'll show you a video in a moment. If we have a class, what we can do is a class of kids, for instance, we can put a remote kid, who is at home for any reason, and he can attend the class. Let me show how. We have done 2 experiences in real schools in Madrid in the last months, and this video shows some of them. The first one is with remote.
Realmente estaba hablando con ellos y me sentía como muy dentro de la mesa y poder estar con ellos todo el tiempo.
Eso podría cambiar las vidas de la gente.
Santi, ¿cuáles son las conclusiones?
Porque, ahora hay mucha gente que trabaja en casa.
Vale, coincidimos, ¿no? Venga, muchas gracias.
Lo que más me ha gustado de esta experiencia ha sido pues el poder estar con mis compañeros, pero sin estar ahí físicamente.
Lionel Messi, Michael Jordan, sí, mejor que LeBron. Y nada.
Hello. Have a seat, please, and be quiet. We're going to start.
Hola, Carla.
Bueno, chicos, ¿estáis ya conmigo? El hecho de poder estar dando una clase con el grupo sin estar presente me ha parecido muy, muy interesante.
Hoy vamos a dar una clase de matemáticas un poco más distinta.
Pues me ha parecido una experiencia muy curiosa, ¿no?
Y a ver, Daniela, ¿cuál es el triángulo más famoso de este año?
Nunca me hubiera imaginado estar de forma virtual en un aula con un avatar.
¿Pero por qué es el más famoso, Ángela?
Por el teorema de Pitágoras.
Por el teorema de Pitágoras.
Pues lo que más me ha gustado de esta experiencia ha sido que nunca habíamos probado nada igual en el colegio, entonces me ha parecido una experiencia muy innovadora.
We have 3 stories, okay, on animals. And the first one
es más parecido a una clase normal, puesto que en el Zoom está cada uno en un sitio, las pantallas son pequeñas, no se les aprecia expresión.
A ver, Robert, recuérdame por qué la circunferencia era un lugar geométrico. En este sentido es mucho más una clase que cuando les estás percibiendo individualmente.
Yo sentía que me podía escuchar, sí, que me podía ver también. La cosa es que yo no la podía ver a ella, antes era muy raro.
¿Cómo podríamos saber cuál es la base de ese triángulo rectángulo?
Me ha parecido una tecnología muy potente y que si se sigue desarrollando, es decir, para conseguir todos los puntos a mejora, va a ser muy bien tenerlo.
Hemos hecho con centro en A y a la misma distancia de B.
Me ha parecido muy bien hecho, ya que nos puede ver a todos. Incluso yo que estaba en una esquina de la clase he sido capaz de responder mis dudas.
I can see you. They forgot that the teacher
Venga, conmigo, Vivian, vamos allá. Tú también. Sí. Vamos a hacer primero el cepillado, a ver. Así.
This last one was a therapy. It's horse therapy, which is something that is done usually with kids, with a psychologist. But in this case, this girl could not go outside because he had a treatment of cancer, and she was at home, confined. And we took the capture to the place where the psychologist and the horses were, and she was at home. It was great. It was a really great experience. He enjoyed that a lot. So it's also used for that. So we're talking about training. If we use this technology, what we can get is experts. We can get people that get expert thanks to this remote technology, and they can start fighting. But maybe that's not enough. Maybe we can have situations in real life in what we need are remote experts. You remember that I'm not doing any spoiler. But what happens in many situations in life, if you want to repair something and the expert is not there, sending an expert is very, very expensive, and that happens in the industry all the time. And this market is really very, very hot in terms of products and so on. So why don't we use the same technology instead for doing the training, for helping people to do the fixing or to do the expert assistance? And we have also done this. And this is the last video.
Okay. This
is a drone.
Oh, really?
Let's play with it. Why don't we open it?
Yeah,
Wow.
This is a mess. Maybe we can start with the...
It's in Chinese. Okay, let's stop it. We need help. Do you remember Redo that worked with us? He liked drones a lot. He can probably help us.
I don't think we can explain this mess on the phone, actually.
Why don't we use our nice invention? Why don't we use the owl?
Yeah.
We have the owl.
Yeah.
Let's use the owl.
And of course, it also has an audio device. This device is transmitting everything that happens here to the remote expert, and the remote expert will be wearing a head-mounted display like this one. And he will be able to give us instructions about what to do.
Hello.
Hi, Redo.
Hello, guys. Seems like you're having some issues with the drone.
We need to mount this and to make it work, and we have no idea where to start.
Take it out from the case. Pull up. Yeah, that's it.
What is this?
This is the battery. You have to have 6 of them. Let's try to mount the landing gear. So basically we have to take these pieces. You have to twist a little bit, pushing it. Now you can pull the motor arms, all of them. Yeah, nice, very good.
Is this the remote controller?
In order to operate, yeah, be careful, please. Power it on, yes.
This is where I should put the smartphone, right? Here.
Yes, yes. Hello, Paco.
How are you doing, Fredo?
Hi, Paco. We are not sure what version we have to install.
Okay, which version do you have right now?
The version we have now is the V2.135.
No, actually you have to update to version 3.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that the drone is ready to fly, but please don't do it in the office.
Thank you very much, Fredo. Thank you so much.
As you can imagine, the power of this kind of approach is really huge, and we really believe that it will be the start of a new era in human communications.
So that was, as you have seen, the application and the prototype that we have there includes that. You can see other avatars of other people, and if someone is using a mobile phone or a tablet, then you can see the real video captured by the selfie camera of the device, and that's why you saw Paco, in this case, floating around and talking with the rest. That's also integrated into a prototype. So conclusions, just finishing. First of all, there are new communication paradigms that are about to start, even with the M word or with other words, but this is going to happen. I really think that immersive media is the magic key that will make all that happen. And virtual approaches are nice. Again, I don't want to leave the impression that I don't like virtual applications for communications. They are nice and they have their space, but this is not what we are researching. And for us, what we want to do is to abolish the space barrier in human communication, I think, in the real world. And that is the way that I think in which I think we can do really good stuff in this world. So. Visit our demos, please.
Thank you very much, Alvaro. Perfect timing. Do we have any questions for Alvaro? We need a mic. Oh, okay. Pedro.
Hi, thank you very much for your great presentation. Well, the first question is probably obvious. Have you thought of putting wheels on the hole and having it more, well, able to navigate the space? And the other question is regarding the other side, the perception of the others, of yourself, if you're the one that is remote, because I didn't saw, besides the whole, how they had the perception of the other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, first of all, putting wheels, yes. In fact, the good thing is that we have the other demo that we have, which is remotely driving a vehicle, and we have the owl. The only thing that we have to do is to put the owl on top of that. We are doing that already. So it's not ready, but we have a couple of projects which are studying and are exactly for that. So it's obvious. In fact, it has a third thing that is not included. I've been telling during the whole presentation that it's good that you see your body, your hands. In the current version of the owl, it's just virtual reality goggles, and you don't see your hands yet. But if you see the Volcano demo, you see that we already have technology for doing that. So once we combine the Volcano demo with the owl and the vehicle, we will have all of that, and that will probably happen in the coming months. And about the other one, the other question is what we call the reverse presence. We don't know how to call it, but it's a problem because you see the device, you see the owl, and you don't see the other person. We have several solutions for that. The first one was very easy and straightforward, which was some LEDs. We just used some LEDs. It was Pablo here present in the room. He invented that. We call that Pablo's eyes, because it was just a couple of a ring of LEDs that just represented where the other person is looking at. It's very simple, but it provides some presence. But of course, we need to do something better. Right now, what we have is an application that represents the avatar of the remote person, and we put that below the owl. In the demo that we will see there, you will see that. In fact, we are using, just to make it nicer, we are using a 3D tablet, a light fields tablet, so it has some depth. But anyway, it's the avatar, and you can see the avatar. It's an avatar. The one that you see there, it's a lady. It's not a lady by chance. It's one of the teachers of the experience that we did. So it's similar to her. and you can see where the remote participant is looking at in all directions, and also when they speak, the mouth is speaking. So that can be done. And we also have something that we do 1 year ago, and we probably will recover with AR. I mean, if you are around the owl and you have good AR goggles, the problem is that you know how AR is right now. But if you use a HoloLens or Unreal or something like that, or Magic Leap, then you can have AR, everything is normal, but when you look at the owl, then you see the avatar of the other person. We have an application that does that. It's a prototype. So yeah, it's a known problem, and we are attacking it as well, yes.
Any other questions? Okay.
I was curious about in your testing, if the subjects felt like there was anything specific that was missing. It's like you're there, except for X, Y, and Z. What might that X, Y, and Z be?
It's what, so? I didn't get you.
The idea is to sell this experience as it's like you're there. It's like you're present. But what else do you miss out on without physical co-presence?
You miss probably the main thing that you miss is the touch, the real touch of things there. Well, 6 degrees of freedom, that's also important. This is real video, so you feel being there exactly where the camera is located. So you cannot move around. If you move, then the sensation is a little bit strange. We are working on that as well. We are trying to get a better capture, maybe not volumetric, like one of the demos that is here, but something that gives you some parallax so you can move a little bit more. So this is one of the things that we want to improve, to get a better feeling of being there. And then, of course, haptics. We can add haptics and trying to touch things. We have a different demo, not related with this, in which we detect objects that we have in front of us, and then the application can change the appearance. There are many, many things we can do with that. The thing is that all the distributed reality, I didn't mention, but the whole distributed reality idea can be implemented with AR goggles once we get AR goggles that are capable of having full field of view and full occlusivity. And that's not possible today. That's why what we are using is VR goggles with video pass-through. Up to this year, there were almost no goggles with good quality that did that, so we had to create our own. So you see the Volcano demo; they have an attached camera on the goggles. This year, there will be at least 3 or 4 models coming to the market, and we'll keep using that. The video pass-through enables us to do these kind of things. To get more presence, I want to have some haptics. Maybe we can touch real things in front of me and change the appearance, maybe making the appearance of that object look like the object that is remote, that kind of stuff. We have done some research about that. We even had a gamified demo with Escape Room a couple of years, no, 3 years ago. We're about to show that in the IEEE VR in 2019, and then a virus made it impossible. But yeah, all those are the things that we are researching on.
Other questions? Okay, I have one last question. Well, I saw that your videos were basically concerned of transmitting like audio and video information in a distributed manner. Do you think of including different kind of media, for example, perceptual media like haptics or smell or something like transmitted remotely between participants?
Yeah, yes, we are. In fact, we are thinking now on starting a project with the remote driving for including. In the remote driving for including haptics, for instance, and to check what is the relationship or the difference in latency. Because remember, we are Nokia. We have a lot of. We are very concerned about the properties of the network, the low latency, and so on. So we are considering starting a project which works a lot with haptics. Smell, taste, and so on. The problem is that I don't think that technology is ready for that. We can do some things. What we are doing, and that's maybe it's not exactly perception, but is we have a lot of information captured, and then what we want to do is to analyze it, to have semantic information about what we have around us. For instance, we have a project which has just finished with the OWL in a school environment in which the system analyzes what's happening in the classroom. So, for instance, if a kid has the goggles but he's looking somewhere else or whatever, and something important is happening in the whiteboard because the teacher is doing something, the system detects it and informs the kid, hey, look that way because that's important. So that kind of information, it is not exactly a sense, it may be a sixth sense. So it's something that you are helping, that is a term that is pretty used in Bell Labs, and we keep using it, which is not artificial intelligence, but augmented intelligence. So we help the human brain to have even a sixth sense. So things that you do not perceive with your senses, we have a system that is capable of analyzing it, then we can provide them with it's very mediated, the environment. So
Very interesting. Thank you very much. Let's thank Alvaro for his nice talk.